So let's go through another mailbag segment here. This one says, hey, Doc, is there a genetic factor to strokes? Okay, so when you look at strokes, they fall into really two classifications. You have a hemorrhagic and an ischemic, and then they break those each into two classifications. So there's two main groups, ischemic or hemorrhagic. Now, hemorrhagic means there's a bleed somewhere, something ruptured, one of the pipes burst. Ischemic means something got caught in the pipe and nothing's getting through on the other end. So those are the two that you're looking at, and then there's two variations of each one. So there's only four major ones that we're looking for. Now, genetics. Genetics is a slippery slope when it comes to terminology. It's something that I believe the marketing industry takes huge advantage of. Huge advantage. I think that scare tactics and fear and all this stuff come into play all the time. Are there people that could be genetically predisposed to a stroke? It could happen, right? It absolutely could happen. Are there genetic tests that are going to tell you if you are? Probably not. Okay? And even if it does say, oh, look, you have the genetic tendency for, a tail, it doesn't mean you're going to grow one. If you don't feed the bear, you won't. And this is the field of epigenetics. Epi means above the gene, how the world you live in and your environment are influencing your genetic tendencies. So if you don't water the weed, guess what happens? It doesn't grow. If you sit there with a can of Miracle-Gro, it's going to pop up. All right, that's just how this works. So genetic tendencies, although they're there and we all have them for different things, it really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. It doesn't mean much unless you break the laws of the body. You eat like crap, you don't move, you sit around, you're high stressed, you worry, and you're fearful all day long. If that's going on, you're watering your weed. Guaranteed. 100% you're watering it. It's going to grow. If you don't do those things, the odds of it growing are so infinitesimally small that you'll never have to deal with it. And it doesn't matter if it's for heart disease or stroke or lung problems or skin conditions. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying you want to throw genetics away. There's good information there. We can learn some things. But at the same time, it is definitely not, oh my gosh, run and hide. Right? Epigenetics. That tells you, man, is my environment affecting me? How would you ever know? I only know of one test that will tell you. It's an IUP. An integrated urinalysis panel is the only test I found in 2 decades that will tell you if your environment is feeding your genetic bear. All right, then run that one. Right? Common sense would say, look, I'm super scared. Oh my gosh, I could have this. How do you know if you're actually making it occur? Run a test to tell you. 23andMe and National Geographic and Everlywell, whatever the heck is out there. All right, great. Woohoo. Here's your book on quantum physics. Great. Set it on your table and see how much quantum physics you learn. 0. Unless you read it and study it and act on it, you'll never have to worry about it. That's what genetics is, right? But that IUP is saying, look, man, why did you open that book? Why are you on page 12 and reading the 3rd paragraph down over and over and over and over again? Are you trying to build a bomb? Right? That's what happens. So this is a big deal, right? So don't fear the idea of genetics, but respect it and say, okay, am I feeding my bear? If I am, let's find out why.